Hello and welcome back to another Alliance War video. This is War 6 in Season 32. We are against guys who we've not played before. I think the Alliance is called Magneto. And you can see we've got the same team as before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Spidey 2099 with the Anti-Venom Synergy and Tigra. Now, our first fight here is Longshot on Path 6 in Section 1. So this is Power Focus 2 and Aggression Prowess. They put this here because Longshot's SB2, even if you block it in the right circumstances, can incinerate you and completely melt you. However, it only does that if you have buffs, and of course Spidey 2099 has no such thing. So my initial plan here was to play it pretty safe and hit him a few times, back off, pause the Wither, and then I remember that actually I don't need to do that because he's going to go no power above SP2, if he throws SP2, doesn't matter at all. So this is a incredibly easy, simple fight. I don't need to bother keeping up all the different debuffs. I'll just keep hitting into him, which I do here, and I think the next SP2 ends it. So nice and easy to have a little warm up. Now the next fight is Doctor Doom on No 22. This is a classic placement. I remember I used to quake this back in the day. Much easier now, of course, with guys like Spidey 2099 in play. The reason they place Doom here is because he synergizes very well with Power Snack, because Power Snack nullifies a buff, and not only does that give him power, but it gives the shock debuff and all that stuff. However, we don't need to worry about that because, once again, we have no buffs. So Power Snack is not in this fight, and Backup Recovery also isn't going to be in this fight because of the power game. Power control. So my strategy here is to do parry heavies to get exhaustion debuffs, and also to dash back to pause everything. Kind of like the MCOC strategy that I've spoken about before. So there's another parry heavy, and at the same time try and hit into his block to build up ruptures. That's something I need to work on doing more with Spider 2099. I don't do it all that much. And then SP2 does loads of damage, and we're looking pretty good here. Now, I significantly slow down from here on out, and this fight sort of slowly goes downhill. I sort of feel pretty confident this is fine. It takes ages to throw this SP1, and of course another annoying difficult thing about Doom, which Spidey 2099 can't do anything about, oh, missed the full evade there, pretty annoying, is that he now has the Aura of Hazareth, which means I now can't land heavy attacks, and I can't land special attacks until it's gone. And he throws another SP1, and he has it again. The reason you can't throw heavy attacks or special attacks when he has Aura of Hazareth is, of course, he gets this sort of unstoppable effect on the final hit of each of those things. So I missed the full evade again there. I'm sort of a bit shaken by that because I can normally evade that with 100% consistency. Not much what's going on there. So all I sort of do is regular combos up to my next SP2 when his aura falls off, throw it. Didn't do all that much damage, and I'm slowly taking more and more sort of block damage, and still dexing back frequently to get the pause on all my debuffs. All my exhaustions have fallen off, so I throw another one just to keep his power gain down, although I don't think he can gain any more power in this fight, but I do it anyway. Miss the SP1 again. I'm sort of at this point wondering, is something wrong? Is there some sort of, I don't know, lag issue or something? But no, it's probably just me being weirdly slow. Thrown yet another SPC that doesn't do that much damage. And we're back in this old cycle. Now, I said this fight was going kind of badly, and that's sort of true, but also fundamentally I am very much winning the health bar fight. Fully evade this SP1, hooray! And I'm thinking here, oh well, this is fine. I'm sure the fight's surely over here. Another parry, I think, just in just a moment. Yep, and then I think, okay, 5-foot combo, SP2 and win. Oh wait, he parried it, retaliates, throws the SP2, thankfully. I evaded the first two hits, and I think that's fine. I'm not going to try and evade it. I know I can, but I'm not going to risk it. I'm just going to block it, because I know it won't kill me. So that fight suddenly went downhill very fast. I think I was just too slow. I was just too slow hitting the SP2 button. Normally I would do a 4-hit combo, and that would be fine. But because I did a 5-hit combo, being too slow meant that he was able to parry. So the next morning, we are now on the final run up to the boss yet again, and we're on path 1 yet again. I don't really know why I keep ending up here. People place champs who Spidey 2099 and Tigra can take, I guess. So this first fight, Hit Monkey, I was actually pretty worried about it. Because, well, reason number 1, I forgot how the node worked, figure. I thought it gave them a regen passive, not a regen buff. And of course, Tigra can't do anything to stop passive effects. So I thought that I would just have to outdamage his regen, and I was pretty not confident that she'd be able to outdamage his regen without doing because I'd have to wait out his annoying phases after you knock him down. You see here I have half suicides on, just to maximise my damage, but not make me just melt from the poison debuff. So my plan here is just to use my SB2, and then wait out his annoying hitmonkey stuff. But you'll see here that I noticed this pretty quickly, that actually I'm out damaging the timer for the Vigor regen with just my basic hits. So I'm thinking, oh, that's fine. There I don't quite get the Tigra dashback SB2 right, but you know, even if you mess it up, you can still counter him pretty easily. Now there I don't punish because I don't want him to evade. Hitmonkey's the sort of defender who can really make things go south for you if you manage to get him to evade you, and then he retaliates and gets his guaranteed crits, which can bleed, and then that can, yeah, it can go downhill very quickly. So as ever, my motto here is as safe as I can possibly be. Here I could probably have just thrown the SB2 and killed him, but again I just think it's not worth it. Just bait out the SB1. There the regen does kick in, and I notice it's A, it's a buff, and B, it's barely anything, so didn't need to worry about that in the end. Back in the same position he was before, he's on about 15%, and I'm baiting out the SB1. Takes him a while to throw it. A long time actually. Eventually he does it, and I punish, and I throw SB3, kill him. Or not immediately for some reason. Yeah, I do. So yeah, that fight was much easier than I thought it was going to be. I suppose Vigor only does 50% of base health rather than modified health, and Hitmonkey has a very low base health pool, so even then it didn't do that much damage. Nothing to worry about. Now the next fight is Mojo on Buffet, and guess what? Spidey 2099 doesn't have any buffs, which means Buffet is not in play, and Spidey 2099 is also a total counter to Mojo because he can't gain any of Mojo's hater buffs, and you can't degen at all? No, I think if you take an SB3, I think you still degen because that's not based on buffs. But yeah, super relatively simple fight. Here I go for my standard technique of alternating usually heavies with dashing back to pause my debuffs, because I'm still interested in baiting SB1s from him if I can, as I do here. But he's dropping pretty quickly. I think, does he have quite low health pool? Not sure. And of course there, the little power gain he gets from completing his missions is reversed by all my debuffs, so that's pretty good. Here I throw SB2 in just a moment, and I think it sort of... Oh, that's right, there I fall for the classic Mojo trap of trying to punish his heavy, but he recovers from his heavy very quickly, and he hits into me and he takes away some of my invul, but not a disaster. Now my SB2 there did an absolute ton of damage because it crit, and here he is no more. So again, didn't go perfectly, but kind of went fine enough. Now my next fight is a Black Panther Civil Warrior. This is the Civil War. This is the first time I've taken Black Panther Civil War in this with this new global, and Tigra should be a complete counter, because as long as you're hitting him, he can never gain an armor up buff either from his own abilities or from the global node. So this should just be a parry 5-hit combo fight, right? That's the theory at least. Now, in a previous war, someone else in the group actually died, I think twice, to Black Panther Civil War on a very similar node, or and I don't quite know how he died. It made me, it kind of took away my confidence. I thought maybe there's something extra going on here, but it should be fine, I know. And this is the Conflictor node, and we have the White Mags pre-fight here, so my parries are going to stick. I have 100% guaranteed parries, but my Rupture debuffs will give him power, which is kind of annoying, but that's fine. So I have in my head, this is fine, this is a parry 5-hit combo fight, and that's it. And that is mostly true. The main issue, however, is because he has quite a lot of power from my the power gain from my debuffs, that my neutralized passives are going to fall off relatively often, and sometimes he will still gain armor ups from the node, and if he doesn't have a neutralized passive on him and I hit into his block, he can still gain his own armor up buff. So those are the two ways in which, as I said earlier, he can gain his armor up buff, and I think both of them happen. I get quite lucky in this fight. He could easily have punished me at a couple of points, and but he luckily didn't. There he's got all the prowess and block penetration, but that's fine. I waited out. Is it here? Yeah. Oh no, not there. Luckily, but here. Yeah, hit into his block, gain an armor up buff. He does go unstoppable, and he could easily have punished me there, but he just didn't. He just sat there holding block, which is extremely kind of him, because I suppose it's possible that could have killed me. Probably not, but possible. And then I did the exact same thing there. At that point I'm thinking, no, stop it. Stop being on autopilot. You can't just hit into their block. You can't hit into his block when you're trying to bait out a special. So I have to sit there and dashing back forever. Finally, we're in the clear. Here we do the dash back SP2, which actually works. Do a reasonable amount of damage, but her special 2 isn't that powerful unless it crits, so get a bit of power gain back from the Mystic power boosts, but not all that much. Here I'm thinking that's nice and slow, just keep hitting him from parry and doing my dash back SP2, which I think here finishes him off. And that's Tigra done for this war. Not a bad fight really, but again I didn't play it perfectly. I'm not sure I've played any of these fights perfectly other than Longshot. Oh well. Now here, of course, so the battlegrounds have just been released, which is very exciting. I'm enjoying them a lot. Mastery changes are free, so there's an awful lot of mastery changing going on. I changed them there, and I heal up and chuck on some extra boosts. And now we have MCOC, which we've seen. This is the third time we've seen him here, and the second time I'm taking him here with the anti-venom synergy, which gives him the wither. Now, I just said I didn't take any of these fights perfectly. I think I take this fight basically perfectly, and this is the best MCOC takedown that I've done at least. Same old strategy as before: parry heavy to get an exhaustion, and dash back to pause the debuffs. Parry heavy, reparry in this case, to get an exhaustion, dash back to pause the debuffs. Parry heavy, to get etc, etc. You get the picture. There, just play around the global. He does trigger the unstoppable, but you can just wait it out. Parry heavy, get the exhaustion. He now has something like minus, I don't know, 200% power gain. I throw another SP2 to give a second wither, so now he's losing loads of power. Now that was a tiny mistake, because I pushed him over a bar of power when I needn't have done so, which means that he got a little bit of aspect of evolution going, but not really. And I realised all I need to do is just dash back, and the power he does have is just going to go away. So that's what I do. I sit here dashing back. There I throw a heavy because I accidentally parry. Other than that, I just dash back. And the fight's completely under control. He hasn't thrown a single special attack, and spoiler, he will not do so for the whole fight, because slow and steady, dashing back as often as I can to pause my debuffs, do a parry heavy. The reason I'm doing parry heavy, even though I don't need to in terms of exhaustion debuffs, is because I still have the Petrify Mastery on, which reduces his power gained when hit. So as long as I'm hitting him when when stunned. So as long as I hit him only when he's stunned, he's not going to gain any much power from it at all. Here at this point I go for the long play, I go for the SP3, because now with the slow debuff on him there's just no way there's no way anything stupid can happen, because there's no way he can get the unstoppable and sort of counter me if I stop paying attention to that. So super nice, super simple. You see he's still losing so much power. I think S2099 is definitely the top option for this. That's fine. There I don't punish, because I don't know, I'm just instinctively scared of the unstoppable, but I needn't have been, I could easily have done so. And I think at this point I build up to an SP2. Just a moment. No, not quite. And so one thing to say, he is still stun immune. Slow debuffs stop the unstoppable passives from doing anything, but they are still stun immune if they have the unstoppable passive on them at the time. Now there I do throw the SP2 and finish him off. So another MCOC down, and this time probably the most successful one. Another mastery swap going on here, because I need to put on full suicides now. I only had half suicides on in that previous fight, just to give me good damage, but not so that I will lose a load of health from the poison suicides. Now here we are on the boss, and it is this time a Nihilus. So not Super Skrull, but another Cosmic Champion with Unstoppable. Although this one's easier, because the only armor he can get is from the global. But he can still gain Unstoppables from the Stifle debuffs that he puts on you by hitting into your block, and if you dash back with Stifles on you. So the strategy for this is almost identical to the strategy to Super Scroll, to be honest. Advanced power boost, yet again. It's a race to get to the SP3. Just check I'm recording. Yes, I am. And then we jump in. So, as I said, race to get to the SP3, put the slow on him, and then the global can't give him a meaningful unstoppable, nor can he go unstoppable when you convert his stifles into unstoppable. Now here I'm doing some nice easy Annihilus intercepts, where you dash back and respond with a light attack. You can punish his SP1, and there we go. Nice, easy dash back light attack. Works very well for Spidey 2099 because, of course, at the same time you're pausing your debuffs on him. Although, to be honest, they're not doing all that much. Bait out SP1s, punish, and at this point we've made it to an SP3. I think I wasn't actually paying attention to the global in that one, and he gained an armor up but didn't go unstoppable. So I got a bit lucky there, but still. And now that he has the slow on him, we're really looking fine. Hit into his block to gain more ruptures, and I'm basically just baiting out the SP2. At this point I decide, screw it, if he does throw the SP2 it's fine, I'm going to take no damage. So I let him throw it, eventually, once he decides to. There we go. Block it, doesn't matter at all. And there we get another Annihilus intercept. Oh, I should note as well, I'm taking this fight also with the brute force node still up. It just simply, it doesn't come into play. It does no meaningful damage to Spidey at all. On the rare times it is even triggered because you're still hitting them very frequently. The reason we did that was to give the guys on the right side, let them take their fights without the global to make them that much easier. And you'll see here that his health is just way down. My SP2s are doing lots of good damage. I'm doing a pretty good job of pausing the slow debuff with all my dexing. Another SP2 here also completely melts him, does something stupid like 50k damage, and we finish him off with a full yellow bar, 100%, and just under 2 minutes. So yeah, that's another boss slain by this boss killer Spidey 2099. Really silly interaction with the boss node, but there we go. Now we do actually win this war, as you can see here. Not only do we win it, but we only die one time, which is great. That's sort of randomly our best performance by far in recent memory. My BG had no deaths. I think BG3 had no deaths. Yeah, so really good showing from us there, and let's hope we can keep it up, because we're now on the brink of Master. I think Masters and Plat 1. We've redressed our pretty poor start to the beginning of the season. So that's this war. On the one hand, I kind of hope I get more variation in future, just because that's more interesting. But on the other hand, as I said earlier, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And so far, we're doing pretty well with these new champs. So thank you for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta.